Welcome everyone. A great song by, Bachman, Turner, Overdrive. Randy Bachman is such a wonderful guitar player, and I'm going to speak to this real quick. He did an actual how to play a couple of his songs. One of them was She's Come Undone. And it's fantastic. It's on YouTube. I'll probably put a link below the video. It's just wonderful. He talks about the jazz inversion chords and how he learned about it. Melbay book of jazz chord inversions. But it's just wonderful how he teaches it. He even on his channel shows him teaching his granddaughter guitar. So really worth checking out. But this song, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, from what I read, he kind of was teasing his brother about his speech impediment when he actually kind of put this together and sang it. And the record company liked the stuttering in the song better than without. So he kept it, and now he's become actually a spokesperson for people who stutter and have speech impediments. So it's funny how something teasing his brother turned into a really good thing to help people with their issues. So with that said, we're going to talk about the leads he plays. There's a live version out there, and I'll put a link below the video, and I'll show you what he does in the beginning as far as that lead. It's a little bit different, but very similar. It's just a different way of playing that opening. And I think he does a real good job. In the solo, he stays true to with the rest of the song live. So we'll go through all of that, including this rhythm. So the song starts out, and you can play this acoustically. I believe there is an actual second guitar, maybe acoustic, overdubbing this with more cowboy open chords. But the chords he plays live, and it sounds like in the studio, are this form of A, this form of G, to D. Okay, so it's basically like taking an E chord, but we're going to add this second string from 10, 9 on the third, 11 on the fourth. If you put your pinky down, it's a C form of A. It's just an A, C chord moved all the way up and played like an A. There's a whole thing called caged chording. But what he does is to this, just moves that down, and then to D, lifts everything off. Okay? So by lifting it off, you're referencing a D. Later in the song, during the pre-chorus, he'll come back to that, but he's actually referencing a B minor. But we'll still play that. We can add the first string, because we're not... With this, you can play the first string on the A, the G, but not on the D. You want to concentrate the fourth, third, and second string, not hitting that first string. Okay, so the rhythm. This is 16ths, all right? 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. So what he does is a down, then an up, and then there's a slight pause before he comes back down. And then just, again, a very slight pause. We're talking 16ths here. And then it's a up, down, down, up. Then 2 scratches while he moves to the G. All right? The G is the exact same rhythm, but no scratches after it. And then we go to the D. The D is down, then up, and then down, and then up, down, down, up. So it's really difficult to show. I am a feel player. So I kind of got this under my grips, if you will, and just go with the feel of it. wouldn't worry a whole lot about the rhythm. I would, again, kind of learn that, slow the song down, play with it, and then just kind of go with your feel. Once you go with the feel, you have it. So that intro rhythm, all right, we do that for a full measure from G, A to D, all right, and then repeat it. That's a full measure. Okay, we're going to do that full measure 2 times, and then you'll hear the intro solo, which I played in the intro of this video. And then he continues with this rhythm underneath, okay? It's played for, I believe, 4 measures, and then we're into the pre-chorus, all right? So this rhythm is really integral to most of the song. It's the intro, it's the verse, and it's the rhythm during the solo, all right? The rhythm changes twice. We got the pre-chorus, which changes, and then the actual chorus with the hard guitar that we all know and love and makes our hair stand up. So, we'll go over the pre-chorus next. I forgot to mention, I wrote this out, so my notes are available to link right below the video. Click on it and you can download it. And we're into the pre-chorus now. So the pre-chorus is going to move to a D chord, then up to an F and a G. All right, so we have this. Then he comes back to our initial, but it's a different rhythm. It's more of a down, up, down, up. Then to our, just lift off, referencing an E. Back down to our A. And this is twice through, okay? So we have. Okay, that's kind of staccato, but you get what I'm saying. The second A is twice as long. And then we move back to our D form, but we can add that first string because we're referencing a B minor. All right? You don't have to play the bottom half of the chord, just the top half. All right, so what we have so far is this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he moves up to an E suspended, okay, or E7th. So we're going to play on the 4th string, 3rd string on the 9th fret, and we're going to add our middle finger on the 2nd string for half that measure. And then off. And then we're into the chorus. All right, so again, the whole pre-chorus, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that chorus we all know and love, and it's simple power chords, A to E to D. We'll do that a total of 4 times. On the 4th time, we're going to walk down from the D to just plain 5th string, 4th fret to 2nd fret to open. Alright, and it's not real loud, it's really kind of following the bass, but that's what he's doing. So the very last one. Alright, and then you're back into, this would be verse 2, started, kind of like the intro, a couple measures of the rhythm, and you'll hear a solo, or the second lick of the song, all right, before he goes into another pre-chorus and chorus. So that verse, I don't know, some people call it a bridge. Either way, we have verse 2 with the lick, and then the actual verse sung, then we're into pre-chorus, and then chorus 2, just like we've learned. Then we're into the solo rhythm. The solo rhythm is just like, again, the intro, measures of rhythm. Then we have pre-chorus 3, chorus 3, and then we're going to go out with the solo and the intro rhythm. Okay? So again, I've written this all out, and again, once you play with it, it'll all come together. We're going to go over that intro lead. I'll show you what he does live. We'll go over verse 2's lick, and then solo 1, and there's actually, when they go to the outro, there is a solo out. So we'll go over all of that. So one thing I want to mention, there is a full version of this song versus the radio-friendly version. I started learning this off of the Best of BTO, and that's the radio-friendly version. It's missing some licks and solos in there. So, like the second verse solo is just cut out. So be aware of that if you have the full version. This is what I've written out. So the first intro lead that we'll hear after 2 runs through the verse is going to slide into 5 with some vibrato. And then we're going to hit 7 pulled off to 5 and slid back to 3, all on that second string. Alright? So it's a nice little pull off and slide back. And then there's a little vibrato there, and then we're going to hit 5 back to 3 on that second string, slid to 2. And then do a little arpeggio. So we're already on the second string at 2. We'll go to the third string at 2 to the fourth string at 2 with some vibrato. Alright, so what we have so far is this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he goes onto the 4th fret of the 5th string, slides that to 5 with some vibrato. Then he comes back to 4, hits 5, sliding up to 7, and then lets off with the open. Alright, so that A rings into the chord as we're coming around with that rhythm. Alright, so all together, this intro lead, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really approachable and very well structured, I think. Now live, the live video that I watched him do this on, he did it a little bit differently. So I'll show you that real quick. So going over what he does live, it's a bit different, but similar, if you will. We end in the A and so forth. It's just maybe about a half measure longer. So we're going to slide into 5 and then hit it. So he slides into 5 twice, and then he does a hammer on to 7, then pulled off and slid back to 3. And then another 3 hammered on to 5, pulled off to 3, and then slid to 2. And then we'll go 3 to 5 twice. So that's all on the second string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he goes Back on that second string, we're going to go 3rd fret to 2nd fret, and then come to the 4th fret of the 3rd string to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string with some vibrato. And then a little takeoff, we're going to hit 4 on the 4th string to 2 on the 3rd string, and then 4 slid up to 6. Then he gives it a bended vibrato, and then back 4-2 on the 3rd, and then 4th string landing on 4 on the 5. And then before hitting an A on that 4th and 3rd string. So again, I wrote that out. That's what he's doing live. Just a little different take, a little half measure longer, and you come back in again with the verse and the verse lick. So we're going to go over the actual verse 2 lick, which he does pretty much note for note live. Same with the solos and the solo outs. So solo 2 or verse 2s during the intro to the verse is very similar at the end to what we did in the intro lick, but it starts out down here at the 9th position. So I'll play the lick and then we'll go over it. So you can see the ending is just like what we did earlier as far as the 4 and 5 slid in and so forth on the 5th string. But to start out with, we're going to slide in and hit 9, some vibrato, and then that's on the 1st string. Then we'll go 10 to 9 on that 1st string, landing on 12 with a little vibrato on the 2nd string. And then a quick 10 hammered onto 12, pull back off to 10. And then we'll hit 10 again after some vibrato, and 9 on the 3rd. Alright, so we have this so far. Now we come back down to that 1st string, and we're going to take 10 hammered on, pulled off to 9, hammered back onto 10. And then we'll hit 10, 9, 10, and then 12. So that kind of ends the first measure of the song. Alright? So all together, that first measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Come back to the 5th fret of the 2nd string to 3, 2, and then we'll go 3, 2 twice more. So it'll be a total of 3 times. Then up through the arpeggio. Some vibrato there before we slide 4 to 5. And then 4, 5, slid up to 7 and open. Alright, so that is the lick that leads us into verse 2. And then we got verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus, and then we are into the solo. So solo 1, we're going to start out in the 9th position. Alright, I'll do the first measure because then we'll move up to the 14th position. But I'm going to do the first measure. Again, not real difficult. It's played with feeling and really well structured. So we're going to slide into 12 and then hit 12 again with vibrato on the 1st string. Then a quick hammer on from 10 to 12, pull back off to 10, and hit 10 again with vibrato. Then we come to 9, 10, 12. Landing on 10 on the 2nd string with some vibrato and then sliding off. Then he comes back with 9 on the 3rd string to 12 on the 1st string. And then we go back to 10, and then 9, 10, slid up to 12 and 12 again. So that's the whole first measure. Let's do that together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. Alright, so that is the first measure of the solo. Then we change positions. We're going to move up to the 14th position. Alright, we're going to start on the 3rd string to the 1st string. From 14 to 17. And then we're going to hit 17 on the 2nd string bent, and then 17 again bent and release. And then we come back to 15, 14 on the 2nd string, back to 15, 17, landing on 14 on the 3rd. Alright, so this first half measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do a little arpeggio. We're going to start on the A and end on an A. So we'll be on 14 again on the 3rd string, then we'll hit 17 on the B string, and then 17A again on the 1st string. Then we come back to 17 on the 2nd with a bend, and then a bend and release. Excuse me. And then we just go 14, 15, 17. We don't go 15, 14. We go 14, 15, 17 on the 2nd string. And land on the 14 on the 3rd string to end. Alright, so we have this for the second half. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the solo. The first one. Now there's a second solo that takes us out of the song. So solo 2, a little bit different. We're going to move into some different positions, but it will start out basically the same up to the 10th fret of the 2nd string and our slide down. Alright, at that point we come up to the 5th position, but we're going to be playing 7 on the 4th string to 6, hammered into 7 on the 3rd string twice, and then 6 hitting 7, slid up to 9. And then we come up to 14 and hit that twice. Alright, so we have this for the second half. Alright, so measure 2 of the solo 2 gets a little tricky because of the position. We're going to be going from 14 and then 19, 17 on some of the chording or licks we're doing. So it starts out like this. Alright, so what we're doing is hammering in from the 3rd string at 14 to 16 and then hitting 14. Then we're going to hit 17 on the 2nd string to 19, back to 17, and then we hit 19 pulled off to 17. Then we come back. The next part will be 2 pull-offs from 16 to 14 before we slide 16 to 18. And that kind of gets us a little bit better position, because the last section of this lick will be 17 hammered into 19 and pulled back up. Alright, so it's... So this first, it's about 3/4 of the second measure of the second solo. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we let that 17 ring on the second string, and then we hit it again before we hit the first string at 17, back to the second string at 17. And what we're going to do is hammer from 17 to 19, hit 21, and then 22, back to 21 and 19. All right, so we have this. So again, it gets up there, and it's one of those things you really have to slow down. But let's take this second measure together. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then we're going to come back to 17. This is the third measure. We're going to start out on 17, all right, first string. We'll hit that 4 times before we move to 19, and then 21 pulled off to 19. Then 21 to 22, and then 21, 19, 17, 4 more times. All right, so we have this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then to start the fade off, we're basically just pulling 21 on the first string off to 19, off to 17. There might be a little variation, but it's fading out and you really don't hear it. And that's the whole thing. So I really hope this helps everybody. It was a joy learning, and God bless Randy. I'll put a link to that She's Come Undone below, because it's just fantastic that he teaches this to us. So enjoy.